Guys, you're looking at a webcam down in Perdido Key, Florida. And there's a few people out on the beach. You can see the storms off in the distance, different layers of clouds, because that's the way this tropical system is spinning. Now, it's only predicted to become a tropical storm. And the main problem with that would be that it's going to move along the coastline, and it's only moving at about 3 miles per hour. And that's going to dump a lot of rain over the same area because of that slow pattern. Now, this is kind of where it goes down into Johnson Beach, and they're closing this. They're closing Pensacola Beach. I'm not sure about Panama, but they're closing this. And if you get over into Mississippi, they're closing the Barrier Islands. So that would basically include the Chandeliers. Moving back west, you'd have Cat Island, Ship Island, Horn Island, Petty Boy, Deer Island through there, and headed over to Dolphin Island. But they're closing a lot of this at 8 p.m. tonight because they don't want people out. You're probably going to have some storm surge. We're going to look at that information. Again, it does not look like it's going to become a hurricane. We're going to look at the exact images coming in from the satellites right now. Again, it's a slow movement. And what we saw most of the day was it start to track back north. Now in the last hour or so, I'm seeing it move west and very slow. Now let's move south down to St. George Island. Guys, if you've never been to these parts of Florida, they are magnificent. That's all I can say. But you can see that the storm is more straight out here because this is very close to the tip of the Big Bend, moving south through that area. Now, this is a little further down the beach. This is part of the Forgotten Shores property there. You can see some pelicans here. We're getting a little bit of buffering, more than likely because of the wind, things like that. But it's magnificent, again, to see the ocean like this, to see the wildlife and all. And to be honest with you, I miss it quite a bit. We're kind of tied down at the moment, but one of my favorite places is this section of Florida. Things are going to get a little rough overnight. Now, more than likely, the Big Bend area that we're looking at now, guys, the storm is almost moving past it, but you've got this ragged edge that's throwing storms almost into every state along the Gulf Coast right now. Let's look at some of the different radars and also at some of the projections as far as the tracking map. Now, these images start before daylight this morning and carry up to the very last current image that we have this afternoon. Right there, you can see that it's a dry top as far as the center of circulation. We'll get a little closer. And again, it moved north. Now we're starting to see a westward track, which matches the models at this point. Something I want to point out is this water's so warm, guys. There's a front moving across Louisiana. Watch this. And as soon as it hits the water, watch right there, man. That's powerful. And that's, again, you could have this pop-up energy at any time. It's moving so slow. And as long as it's keeping both feet in the water, it can continue to pull energy and moisture in. The good thing about this is that it is going to cool down the Gulf of America, which helps cool all the Gulf states. And here, going to infrared, guys, again, watch the system coming down from Louisiana. And all of this is really being pulled in by the center of circulation. But watch it when it hits that warm water. Very powerful storms down there in central Louisiana, guys. But this moisture extends for quite a long period of time. And this outer section, even though the center is more than likely not going to hit Pensacola and down through this area, they know these outer storms are going to cause problems. They could cause lightning storms, possibly even a water spout, things like that. So they want to get the beaches cleared, get out of there, and don't put yourself or your family at risk. So heed the warnings, get out while you still have some daylight. Now, this is the tracking map for Tropical Depression 2. Again, notice the northwest movement at 3 miles per hour. Very slow moving. It's going to dump a lot of moisture. Winds at 35. When you get to 39 and cross into 40 there, you're into tropical storm warnings. You're going to see the wind pick up some. Again, not a hurricane, but some of your outer gusts and things like that can be very powerful. Watch again for pop-up tornadoes, water spouts, and high wind gusts with heavy rain. Now, this is the latest from Fox on Tropical Depression number 2. Notice your advisory was at 5 p.m. That's about an hour and a half ago. And so we've got 35-mile-per-hour winds moving northwest at 3 miles per hour, very slow. But when you get to about 39 to 40, it's going to change over to a tropical storm. And the winds intensify, things like that. As it moves through the night, it's a good thing to watch it, but notice how slow it's moving. Again, by tomorrow, sitting here as the beginning of a tropical storm. By Wednesday, it's right here at the Louisiana-Mississippi line. Check that out. But then Thursday, it's only right here. And then Friday, it's right on the Sabine River outlet, Louisiana and Texas there. And then it weakens, of course, as it moves this far inland, but it's crossing the Galveston and Houston area very directly. Now, one thing about it, the cone is not the size of the storm. The cone is the variable of where the path could go. It could come through here or could come down here. What they're doing is averaging the models. Now, this is about 30 minutes old, 7 p.m. report. That's Eastern time. What has changed from this morning and the afternoon really into this report, we had 2 models that were coming up into the south here. One was going to come up into Alabama, and one was going to come up right in this area here. And those 2 were the most popular as far as the final pinpointing of where they're going to make landfall, the Canadian model and the Navy model. We watched that for years, guys. Now the Canadian model has pulled back their projections, and only the Navy model has this thing coming in down around Biloxi, going through Hattiesburg and moving north. And like we saw with the cone from the National Hurricane Center, is that they're averaging these models. A couple of them pull right, or 3 of them pull right across Houston and Galveston. Notice that. Either way, they're going to skate the coast right here. And again, the dirty edge that we saw when the storm began is going to be throwing up a lot of water into this area. Thunderstorms, heavy at times, heavy rain, maybe no tornadoes. But guys, one thing about it, you've got Lake Pontchartrain right here, and you've got these inlets all along the coast. And with the storm rotating counterclockwise and moving this way, it's going to push a lot of water into the New Orleans area as far as the Lake Pontchartrain. Now, they've improved a lot of that. You're just going to see some heavy waves and maybe some low coastal flooding. But when you get down into this area, away from New Orleans, you're getting into some very low areas. Over here, you got your Chaffalaya River Basin coming down through here, the Mississippi River section. And all of that's low, so just be careful. The problems also are going to be at Houston and Galveston. Everything is kind of pointed to them. And again, it's moving so slow, we're going to have plenty of time to watch it, but that is going to allow it to saturate already saturated ground through Texas. You're getting a break. I noticed I was at Lake Travis, guys, for you folks there. It's above peak pool right now. That's pretty cool because that's going to help going through next year with some water. The one thing I would be concerned about is it's a little over full right now. I saw the report this morning. I think it's Lake Travis, guys. Somebody correct me. It's a big, beautiful lake. But if it's full right now and we're going to have 2 or 3 days of rain coming into Texas, then let me know, guys, can the outlets at the reservoir handle another whammy of this much moisture coming in? Again, come into the comments, let us know. Like I said, I saw one video this morning from one of the reporters there, and the lake was a little above full. I guess maybe some was already going out the spillway. They didn't show that, but it's peaked out. So they're either going to have to let a lot out or it can handle some more, one or the other. And we don't want to see any reservoirs or dams compromised. And again, this is why they are putting up the evacuation on the beaches. We were looking down here at St. George Island and then right in here at the Perdido Key Cam. But this is tropical storm watches through this entire area. So this is the Mississippi Islands that they're closing. They have the Bosta Ship Island. They just don't want you out there getting in trouble. Cat Island's out here, Petty Boy, all of that. Chandelier's right here. And this goes up all the way across the Louisiana coast, including the northern sections of the peninsula where the Mississippi River comes up, right through here. So you got to watch this. Now, you got a lot of traffic out there. I'm not sure if they will evacuate any of the oil rigs. With the current level of the storm, once it becomes a tropical depression, they may have to do a few things. We're not sure yet. It wouldn't be a good thing because right now we're seeing things overseas escalate very rapidly. And that's going to use up a lot of energy. And if you have to shut down some of the rigs, that's going to shut down some production. And we're about to see, I'm afraid, the prices of gasoline going up a little bit. There's a lot of movement between D.C. and, again, overseas right now. This is the latest update on the peak storm surge forecast. Guys, in the blue is up to 3 feet, up to 4 feet in the yellow. And you can see it here, again, the Mobile Bay in this area. Here's Pensacola, the area that they're getting people off Johnson Beach. But as the storm is counterclockwise, so it's going to throw a lot of wind and water pressure into this area. They're even showing the southern tip of Lake Pontchartrain catching up to 4 feet of storm surge. That's what I was concerned about. Again, coming all the way from down north of Tampa to Indian Pass, Alabama-Florida border, mouth of the Mississippi River, all of this to Morgan City, Louisiana. Right now, they have storm surge forecast. And so, especially, guys, between the Florida, Alabama section here, you got, this would be Gulf Shores, Orange Beach, through this area. That's where it's going to start to pick up. So they don't want you on the beach. 4-foot storm surge is nothing you want to deal with, especially if you got kids and all on vacation. A lot of people are vacationing now, trying to get back to school the last minute, get out and get it done things. But make sure you are aware of the situation. Again, not a major hurricane, but it doesn't take much when you got a 4-foot surge to create some trouble. And again, Louisiana from Morgan City all the way back around to southern Mississippi, you got very low-lying areas. You do all along the coast. I think Louisiana is the worst. It's going to move through here, and what we'll see more than likely in the next day or two are these storm surge warnings going up from Morgan City, probably through Texas and maybe down to about halfway to Corpus Christi, somewhere in that area as everything moves. But remember, in the radar image I was showing you, out into the open Gulf itself was a lot of moisture training, and that was the wet side of the storm. We're just going to see how that plays out. Guys, I've been wanting to work on the video. We were talking about the Arctic ice melting, and I've got the data, but I had some problems here at home yesterday. We had an electrical problem. We had a couple wires short out, and I've been dealing with getting all that back on, getting it working, and it's just been exhausting for the last 2 days. Finally had time to wrap it up, get out and sit down and get to do this. But in the morning, I'm hoping for a much calmer day and a lot of less wire pulling and sheetrock cutting out. You know how that works sometimes. But get into that ice melt in our poles, guys. It's very concerning. We've lost about 1.3 million acres of ice, guys. And what that is if you add Texas, if you add California, and you add Alaska together, think about that size. That's how much in 30 days of sea ice we have lost in the Arctic. Things are not looking good at all for that. We're going to lose the cryogenic control, and it's like losing your air conditioner in the middle of summer. It's going to throw off the currents. It's going to throw off everything, and what will happen is your different vortices, the weather will just drift around slowly, creating high pressure zones that don't move much, creating rain systems that don't move much. And we've been seeing that here in the South since the spring. I'm not complaining, but I'm not in a flood zone either. And we pray for those folks. Texas really got hit hard. So you guys be careful. Don't get caught off guard. And believe it or not, and I saw it today, some people are not even aware there's a storm out there. Don't be one of those folks, guys. You take care of your family. If you're on the beaches for this last week before school starts, don't make a crucial mistake. Don't make a devastating mistake and get out there and let your kids get caught in some kind of rip current or anything else. This is the time to hunker down and be safe. Now, if you're a grown man, grown woman, if you want to do it, do it. But don't you put your kids out there, and it's not fair to them, even though just like the pictures we saw or the images, the videos we saw at the beginning of this, the beaches are beautiful. But as sun sets, guys, things could change, so you get inside and you be very careful. And if you start to see high winds, don't stay right by a large window. Glass can break and you can be in trouble very quickly. But guys, I'm not going to draw this out any longer. Our Father loves you. We love you. It's a heads up, and I'll see you guys early in the morning, I hope, with that update. Be safe.